and we started talking, and we got married. So I got married when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you guys still married, or?
Actually, that's where kind of my life, that's why I say when I turned 18, my life kind of went downhill, because I kind of replaced the hurt from what happened with my first boyfriend. I just kind of jumped into this other relationship without even trying to take time to heal up or anything, and got married to John when I was 20, and actually almost 2 years ago, or a year and a half, I found out that he was in adultery. I don't like to
Sure.
put it out there, because I'm not trying to down him or anything, but that's what I found out, and so we're not together anymore, and we're going through a divorce right now, and it's almost over, but just that was like a really, really hard time in my life, and I don't think I ever ran further to God than I did during that time, because, yeah.
So hold on. This is wild.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, this drew you closer to God?
Yes, it did. When it first happened, I knew that the enemy was trying to make me run from God, because I was hurting, and I was hurting. I was hurting deeply and desperately, more than I've ever hurt in my life. There's so many women I know, and I'm sure men out there who've gone through what I've gone through, and the pain of losing a spouse, especially to something like that, it's just terrible. It rips, because when you're married, you're a one flesh, you become one flesh covenant partners, and when that happens, you just feel the violence of that ripping apart, on the inside, and it's very painful. But I chose to run to God in that time, because I knew that He's faithful, and that He'd always showed me that He loved me, no matter what I did in the past. I made mistakes in my past where I felt like God could never forgive me or use me, but obviously that's not true, Like me sitting here on TV, I never thought that I could do that, because I thought I'd messed up too much in the past for God to use me.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. That's a testimony. That's wild. God just really took you into His arms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much what I felt. I think that's what's so wild about this is we look at divorce, and that's got to be painful. I've never been through it myself, but I know that. Well, I can't say I have. My parents have gone through it, and I felt the effect as a child. But I know that being married to somebody, having that one flesh, that love, that intimacy, and you expect it lifelong. It's to be lifelong.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it just. Wow.
Yeah, and I stood for him for over a year to change his mind and to come back. I prayed and I waited for him, and it just came to a point where God released me, and He was like, you've stood long enough, and His grace ran out in the situation, because, my husband was continually doing what he was doing without change of heart or repentance. So God released me, but even in that release, it's still hard, because you just had that hope, for it to work out. But I will say that, if you've been through a divorce or going through one, it doesn't mean life is over. God can always. First of all, what I've learned is I need to submit, everything to God, and do it right this time. So right now, I'm just in every area of my life, I'm just submitting to God in everything. And I know my life is not over just because I'm going through a divorce, because it feels like death.
Yeah.
It honestly does. Like I felt like I was mourning His death.
Let me ask you something on that note. Going through this final place of death, I know you've been going through a lot of grieving in the process of this. Do you feel like there's a purpose behind this, or something that God's going to use from it? I
feel like in all things, God causes all things to work for our good, and I'm not going to necessarily say that God, came in my marriage and messed it up just for a purpose. No, I believe that was a combination of our own mistakes and the enemy who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But I do believe that God, He can use anything. He can use any situation to bring glory and to better your life. So yeah, I feel like my experiences, walking it out, standing for a husband, going through a divorce, I feel like He's going to use this to really help other people, with my testimony, me being able to minister to women who've been hurt, who've been, feel like just thrown away, like they were nothing,
Man. Diana, on that note, if I may, one thing that I see in our ministry here at Lead by Faith is a lot of the young ladies that come through, just standing at a distance and watching you minister to them, love on them, and share with them, I can really see a heart that comes out and just attaches. You know, that says, I understand, I love you, you know, regardless of what street they've gone down. You know, it's just, there's always, no matter what street we go down, we always end up back in front of the Lord. So it's amazing.
Amen.
You know, and I guess it's funny because you've mentioned that to me in the past about working like with my spiritual sons that the Lord has brought, and many of the young people that we work with as well. And it's kind of wild to see God put us in this position, you know, from bringing our hurts back to build up and raise up this generation of young people that are so broken and fatherless. Wow. Well, you know, Diana, we're about 5 minutes out from landing here. What, just real quick, you know, ministry. Where's your heart? Did you ever think you'd be in ministry? How did it happen?
Yeah, since when I first gave my life to God, you know, as a 13-year-old, I always knew I wanted to serve God and work in ministry. I assumed that everyone did that because that's how much I wanted to do it. You know, I just had a heart to do whatever. I was always like, Lord, use me however you want. And when I was a teenager in high school, I knew that I would be working with women and teens. Like, I just always have had a heart for that. You know, and at the time I was like, I don't know how. I don't know, you know, I'm young. I haven't really been through anything. I don't know how. So this, in a weird way, this situation that happened to me with my soon-to-be ex has kind of prepared me in a lot of ways for ministry and to help people because I've been through, you know, certain things. And it's funny because I always tell people that this has kind of made me a better person, as weird as it sounds, because I've learned to, you know, truly forgive people and love people.
Amen.
More than I ever thought I could.
Amen.
You know?
Praise God. Praise God.
Yeah.
That's what I love, is if we can look for the positive side of things, because that, you know, God, it's all about how we look at something.